Good morning. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Let's get you ready for the day ahead on this Wednesday with meteorologist Thomas Patrick, who is working incredibly hard, as always, in the Weather Center. But today, with the fog, I'm sure it's making it even tougher, Thomas.
Yeah, the fog always makes it quite tricky because we got to keep an eye on every single camera image just to see and be pinpoint precise with who is getting the worst of the fog. We'll start you out in Coeur d'Alene. That doesn't look too bad, but you can definitely tell the cloud cover is pretty low, just touching the tree line at the tops of those hills in the not too far distance. Meanwhile, the airport observation in Spokane is mostly sunny at 25 degrees and have not seen any fog issues whatsoever. But somewhere between downtown Spokane, Spokane Valley, up to Coeur d'Alene, that has been where all the trouble spots are, almost in between those two observation points. Spokane Valley likely getting the worst of the fog, at least that I've seen so far this morning. And our temperatures have been cool as well, 20s and teens still as of the 8 o'clock hour. So make sure you still got your winter gear on your way out the door this morning.
I am filled with the gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign.
Breaking news into our newsroom this morning. Less than 1 hour ago, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley officially suspended her campaign for president.
So this now makes former President Donald Trump the last major candidate in the Republican primary. Haley did not endorse Trump in her speech, instead urging him to form a coalition with moderate Republicans. This comes after Trump won 14 of the 15 state primaries yesterday. Haley's only win came in Vermont yesterday, along with the win in the D.C. primary on Sunday. She will remain on the ballot as other states cast their primary votes, including our primary here in Washington state.
And speaking of our primary here in Washington state voters, as of this morning, you have less than 1 week to turn in your ballot for Washington's presidential primary. Ballots are due on March 12th. You'll need to put them in a drop box or have them postmarked by 8 p.m. on that day for your vote to count. You also need to select a party affiliation on the outside of the envelope. And you may be wondering why. Well, the Secretary of State tells KREM 2 this is an internal party process, letting each party select their own candidate. This, by the way, is the only election where you'll need to do that. In November, you can vote for anybody you choose, regardless of party. And tomorrow, we want to let you know President Joe Biden set to deliver his State of the Union address. It will air uninterrupted starting at 6 p.m. You can watch that right here on KREM 2 News.
At 8:03 this morning, a person is dead after a house fire in northwest Spokane last night. This happened on West Elmhurst Avenue just after 6 p.m. Fire officials say neighbors heard an explosion. Right now, though, fire investigators don't know if the explosion started the fire or if it happened because of the fire. We do know that no one else was injured, and the cause of the fire is now under investigation.
This morning, we continue to follow the trial of a former Idaho State Police trooper. Prosecutors accused Daniel Howard of murdering his wife back in 2021. Our Nicole Hernandez live in the newsroom for us this morning. Nicole, you've been following this closely. What are prosecutors trying to prove here?
So the prosecution is trying to prove Daniel Howard killed his wife, Kendi, even though he says she shot herself. Prosecutors spent yesterday trying to show that Kendi was actually not suicidal. The prosecutors talked to Howard and Kendi's neighbor and Kendi's boyfriend. They say Howard and Kendi had been in the middle of getting a divorce, and Kendi was excited about her plans after they finalized the divorce. Her boyfriend said she was planning on moving to a new house and getting a new job. He also told the court about Howard going into Kendi's house just a few days before she died. Kendi apparently told him she woke up in the middle of the night with Howard standing over her wearing gloves and holding something.
She said to me, she said, she's scared to go back. She goes, but he knows now. He knows now. He almost got caught. He got caught. He's not, her words were, he's not dumb enough to try that or anything like that again because he was caught.
Prosecutors also talked to Kendi and Howard's neighbor, like I mentioned. He said Howard had made comments before about knowing how to cover up a murder. We know the defense's plan is to try and prove Kendi shot herself, but we did not hear from them in court yesterday. In the newsroom, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Right now, there is an investigation into Spokane Valley City Council member Al Merkel. KREM 2's Cody Proctor went to last night's meeting to learn more about the councilman.
Tuesday night, Spokane Valley City Council meeting saw a decent crowd as City Manager John Homan read his statement about the investigation being done into Council Member Al Merkel about his interactions with city staff.
I can share the complaints pertain to allegations of offensive, hostile, or unwelcome interactions between Councilmember Merkel and city employees here at City Hall.
KREM 2 spoke with the councilman before the meeting to ask what he knew about the investigation. He told us he had no idea what the complaints could be about.
No staff member has ever come to me and reported anything to me, besides the first email that I received that there were quote-unquote complaints.
Merkel shared with KREM 2 emails between him and City Manager Homan from last week, with Homan asking if the council member would be available to talk about alleged incidents with city staff. Merkel agreed, writing to Homan if he could find out specifics such as details, dates, and names. The city manager emailed back saying, "We are not in a position to provide specifics at this time, and it would be best if Merkel only visited City Hall for council meetings." Merkel told KREM 2 he didn't really read into that email until the next day, when Homan emailed to thank him for agreeing to focus his City Hall visits to Tuesday evenings.
To clarify, at no time was Councilmember Merkel banned from City Hall. He was simply asked to voluntarily agree to limit his time in the building to protect all involved, including himself, while the investigation is being carried out.
Merkel says he's had few interactions with city staff, except during council meetings.
Before I even took office, we had an orientation in December, and during that orientation, he emphasized that I should not be initiating any conversations with staff except through him. And I have, as far as I know, listened to that request to the letter.
Right now, it's unclear how long the investigation will take. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on any new information here on Up with KREM and our website, KREM.com.
It's 8:08 and our weather conditions look to be rather sunny and calm at the current moment. In fact, our satellite imagery showing a very clear scene across the inland northwest. It isn't picking up a whole lot on the foggy conditions near Spokane Valley and Coeur d'Alene, but that is really hyper local at the moment because the general weather pattern very much is sunny nearly everywhere for the inland northwest. And it will be sunny everywhere by the midday hours, so if you're dealing with a bit of fog, realize that that will not last all day long. Mostly sunny skies during the afternoon and temperatures getting into the low 40s today and even warmer for the rest of the week. A snapshot at the 7-day forecast showing as warm as 48 for this Friday. But for the upcoming weekend, we do have some rain chances that are back in play. And we'll cover that in more detail and give you an idea of where our snow levels might lie at the same time. That's all coming up in about 10 minutes.